Hi everyone. So I'm trying to do this recording, yes, in the middle of the night, just before I go to sleep, and I'm trying my best not to actually have too many distracting stuff while I talk. So yeah, I think I'm just going to switch off the fan just to keep the vibrations at the minimum until I go to sleep later. Okay, so this I think we need to talk about something that I think many of us survivors of narcissistic abuse have actually constantly talk about. So I think that one thing that I probably didn't really say much because I just don't want really just keep on talking non-stop, and I said about this whole thing about my experience in the past being narcissistically abused and everything, and that's why I took such a long break, and I said I'm going to really just cut down on the kind of videos and everything about this, and I don't really want to create content just to complain and complain. But I think that after I came back from not just even after I came back from Korea, but even while I was in Korea, that whole thing with this current Mercury retrograde shadow season, which is probably in action right now. Okay, according to what one friend who specializes or dabbles with this astrology has said, I mean, I always take it with a pinch of salt and everything, but he said that exes might come back, people in your past might come back. He told me be careful, and you don't want to end up in a kind of situation where you bump into them. There's a lot of bad energy, and then they'll some of them might actually ask to be back in your life. I just said don't worry, because you know why? I blocked my last narcissistic ex. I don't think it's gonna happen, but that the worst thing that can happen is just an online presence where the ex appears via someone else's feed and whatever, which I have already experienced. So, and I had this whole thing, the whole thing that I told some people in a group or forum was that, all of us former victims and even survivors of narcissistic abuse or of a narcissist who have abused us, is that we always have this conscious fear of actually bumping into the narcissist, okay, in public. And sometimes, if it's not a friend, it could be family, it could be, I mean, even former romantic partners and dates, all these kind of things happen. And I can tell you one thing: the ones who would claim that they don't feel anything, they are totally recovered, mostly are lying, or if they're not lying, then they are probably really just very gifted. Okay, maybe they didn't really exactly meet a very bad narcissist. Okay, or maybe they just were lucky enough that they got out of it before it even happened to be too much or too deep. Okay, and the thing is this: there's this conscious fear. Okay, I said before, I had that fear uh, of this in the year 2022 when I was competing in a fitness and bodybuilding show, and then that was in February, and that was during COVID period some more. And then the thing is that with all these restrictions and everything, I was very scared of the ex-narc appearing with their so-called friends and then enablers, and then wrecking havoc. Although we know that the access to the show was so low profile because of COVID restrictions. How ridiculous was it? But the funny thing was that after that, even when I competed in Musclemania that was in the early December, we know that, okay, one thing is this: the ex-narc, okay, is on a lot of different gear, okay, and then so are the friends of the ex-narc, whatever. These people will not be in a show like Musclemania, which is a drug tester show, okay, and or natural show. But this is ridiculous. The kind of fear keeps on cropping up. And then today, the very funny thing is this: I kind of realized this especially because of the whole realization about people. Why is it that some people, even if they claim to be your friends, they don't really fully understand the extent of the PTSD. They think it's just any other bad relationship or anything or whatever or friendship. But the thing is this: I told my psychologist today, And she said certain things about this based on my experiences and everything. And she said, Kevin, I realized that for you, the one thing that is not a safe space, the one place is very ironically the fitness industry or bodybuilding scene. Okay, she said that, and especially even in a way, she said, in a way, the photography thing is, which is a kind of like a platform for me to, to showcase myself or to actually promote myself back when I was still in the fitness industry. Uh, that is also not a good space. It's not a safe space because that was where I was actually being assaulted. So that kind of feeling was just, I felt that all of a sudden that she kind of like said the truth. She was very astute to mention that. A lot of people said that, oh, she's really really astute. Even the uncle whom I told about this, he gave me a thumbs up saying, yeah, she was, obviously he's in agreement. And I think the one thing that I can really say for sure is this: I'm not gonna like end up stopping all these kind of activities like competition, whatever, while I'm still able to do it, or in keeping good health. But it doesn't make sense for me to just not keep my whole personal space safe, because there's always that fear, as I said, of bumping into all these people. So there needs to be boundaries and everything laid out. Okay, and so today I just told a friend one thing. He sent me some image of another pro level bodybuilder, name of Brandon or something. I can't remember how to spell his name, but it's the not the yeah. But that guy, I was just say, oh, he's a busy beast. Yeah, I know. But by the way, I told him I'm not actually following this particular federation. I don't want to name the federation, but that federation has the ex-nut abuser in it. The ex-nut abuser has the roids have paid off, and then the ex-nut has actually won the show. Okay, after years and years of all this stuff. And then my friend, guess what the reaction was like? ERM. It's like a kind of like a discomfort, or you don't know what to say and kind of thing. You know what? I don't want to really say bad things about him, but the thing is, the fact that he's unable to react and respond with respect means that he doesn't have a capacity. He has limited emotional capacity. Some people are just like that. They can claim that they have been with a narcissist before, but they are actually lying. If they are not lying, or maybe just lucky. Okay, they were protected in the sense that they didn't go in too deep, to the sense that they got exploited or hurt or whatever, and they're not suffering from PTSD. Okay, they have no freaking idea what PTSD is, and I really mean it. They have no freaking idea. So I just told him at the end of it. I said, guess what? I don't think you understand anything about this. So never mind. Yeah, I said I don't follow any more of this federations whatever feed because of the ex-nut. And that is a very valid boundary. Okay, I have the right to do that to protect myself. So one thing is this: if you encounter anyone who is like doing that kind of behavior, it's a form. It is a very subtle form. Like, if it's not like really it's a kind of like gaslighting. It's a societal gaslighting. It's not necessarily always on a like conscious level, unlike what narcissists do. Like, narcissists always gaslight you to try to manipulate you. These people are the so-called friends or acquaintances who mean well, okay? But the thing is that they just don't have a freaking idea. They think everything is very reductionist, because the discomfort springs from the fact that by them admitting that you have a valid thing or valid reason to do what you do to protect yourself, that would challenge their really naive and extremely positive worldview of everything, that everyone is good and there's something good in everyone. Nope, it's not the case. Okay, and I kind of realized that friend and I basically, it's not that we are drifting apart or anything. It's just that I guess that maybe he really has limited emotional capacity for understanding what PTSD is and what people are doing to heal. Okay, sometimes we have to go to extremes. We have to cut off a whole lot of people. We have to change numbers. We have to move houses, move addresses. Okay, we have to change jobs. I left an industry. Okay, according to what the psychologist said. She said, you really left industry to sort of like, because it triggers you, it brings you so many wounds and everything. And it's a valid reason. I can't be in the space that actually where that thing happened, where all these wounds happen. Okay, so but she said one thing. She said now that you're blocking that federation, you can go on to other federations, and that's what I'm doing. Okay, so anyway, this is one thing I want to say. The thing is, for those who are still struggling with some kind of healing, or who are actually in the process of healing, I mean, the truth is this: we can be fully healed after a few years. You can all of a sudden you thought you might be fully healed, but memories come back. Sometimes you get triggers, and it's not a linear process. And even a psychologist admits that this kind of things always do come back. And she actually sides with me to say that, you know what, if people can't understand it, it's not your problem or whatever. You don't have to actually give them the kind of benefit or whatever. And I think she said this kind of thing that she's not what she says. Actually, something I heard in the on social media on this feed of this woman who talks to a man. He said, talking to me is a privilege, and you don't have the privilege. Okay, so I use this now. I will a mantra. What kind of mantra? My love and friendship, or my love and attention, are a privilege. Are a privilege. One privilege that I want the same, and you don't deserve it. Okay, these people, they don't deserve it. If they can't understand you, they can't appreciate the fact that you are doing something for yourself to heal. Okay, you know what? Just put them aside. You don't have to block them. You don't have to delete them. Just put them in this category of the so-called, they call it in Korean 그냥 친구. 그냥 친구 is like, oh, just like, so it's like a acquaintance. They're only in it for the ride, when it's good. But then later on, when you run in some very bad situation, like, you think it's really, they're gonna be there, they're gonna help you. They're gonna take like a long time anyway. And then even if they get back, some of them will just disappear. I know of people who disappear, and they couldn't freaking care for me when I had a problem with that thyroid and whatever. And do you think they're gonna come back? Maybe they may, or maybe not. I don't think they will come back anyway. So it's all about themselves. That's just who they are. Okay, people who ghost are people who are just like that. So I just told myself, I deserve better. Okay, and same thing with all those people who are recovering, from all this, who are recovering empaths. Don't give yourself away so easily. It need not be physical, need not be sexual. It just could be something just like, as simple as like time and attention. If they're not like talking to you, just move on. Okay, and if they're going to give you this kind of like a 6:30 kind of response, where they actually end up thinking that you're the issue, for you're being extreme or whatever, for trying to protect yourself, you know what, screw it. Okay, the issue is not with you. The discomfort is on them. It's not yours. Okay, you don't have to bear a thing for them. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, I'm just like going on to, I'm making so many other different videos and whatever, and I'm actually going to make this new video about this review of the second Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, which is something that I wanted always to make that, but I haven't done it. And also something about the drama S line. But I'm going to do it later. Okay, so anyway, have a good one, everyone. Okay, bye bye.